As a filmmaker, I'm not this person who's supposed to be idolized. I'm simply a messenger. My career and my hobby, my art and my love is based out of something that my brother deeply was into. My brother is so insanely imaginative and so into this art that I began to fall in love with the art through his eyes. As far back as I can remember, I was just this crazy imaginative kid that was so passionate about these stories. I would always draw up these little stories of all these characters and I would pit them against these different scenarios and situations. And even when I would play with my action figures, like I would have the Hulk rescue Scooby-Doo from this evil facility, and I had this imagination just bursting out of me, and I was just very expressive of that. My latest short documentary called Fresh Paint, it features an artist named Ryan Seslow, and Ryan Seslow has just a crazy amount of art that just spoke to me. It spoke about my childhood. It spoke about who I am as a person. I was so familiarized with all his pieces because he's very influenced by cartoons, video games, pop culture, and I love that stuff. And I love the idea that he uses what he knows and gives it back to the community. And that really resonated something with me because now that I'm a senior, I'm ashamed to say that I've developed work that I'm not too proud of because I've done it for a grade. And that's the biggest mistake that you can ever do as an artist, as a filmmaker. And I should have invested a little bit more into my projects, but now I'm aware of my mistake. And Seslow's project, Fresh Paint, was the beginning of my reinvention as an artist. I want my stories to resonate something with my audience. As long as my stories make their world better for 2 hours or maybe an hour and a half, then I've done my job. So that's the type of impact that I want, future, past, and present with my audience, that I'm able to offer them something fruitful of a lesson. I'm able to give them something insightful. I may be the hand that drives the pen onto the paper, but what it comes down to is that the people will care about the ink on that paper. They don't care who writes it. They don't care how it's written. As long as they're able to read it and they're able to understand it and it resonates something with them, then that's surpassing me as a person. That just defines me as an individual. You know, I can guarantee that there are millions of people in this world who've seen movies that they absolutely love, but they don't know the name of the director. But that's the whole point. When you're able to see something, to hear something, and it makes you reflect on yourself, on your life, that is just something beautiful. And we don't take enough time to reflect on ourselves, on our life, on what's going on. And the best way to do that is something that was taught to us even when we were in kindergarten, when we were school children, is through stories, through fables, through folk tales. And all these stories were lessons. They had lessons to children. And why shouldn't that tradition be carried on onto film? Why shouldn't that tradition have to be carried on onto music, onto painting, onto stop motion, onto whatever form of expression? Why shouldn't it have to carry out? It's self-expression. There's no failure in self-expression, so why can't we carry that tradition of reflecting? And that's why stories are far more important than me. I'm not just a director, I'm also a messenger. My name is Andrés Ramirez, and I am a filmmaker.